going on, everybody? Welcome to the Offbeat Podcast, the podcast about music, the world of music, and everything that lives in it. My name is Rick, and today we're joined by my good buddy Xander.
With an X.
Xander with an X.
Good job on that introduction, by
Hey,
the way.
thanks, man. I was trying to dial it in. Shout out to Eddie Saturn. Pour one out for him. Eddie's on assignment today. He's out in the field.
Yes, he is.
He's putting in that work. He's got a show tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? I want to say it's today, right?
Thank you for putting me on the spot. But yes, I think it is tonight. I know he has a show on April the 5th.
Yep. And as it turns out, so today or tomorrow, whatever. Anyway, Eddie's on assignment.
Sorry, Eddie.
as we mentioned previously, but you can find the details if you guys have followed us on Instagram or YouTube or whatever. We've definitely been kind of cross-sharing, cross-promoting stuff.
Yeah.
He's definitely trying to get out there and, do some music, make some music as we do. Is that what we do around here, Zach?
Yes, we talk and do a lot of music.
So one of the things that we had on our docket today to discuss was, in fact, music in terms of, like, when was the last time you created something?
Creation.
Yeah. So do you ever, like, casually, when you're at home on your computer, kind of mess around with stuff, like just tinker?
Give me an example.
So, like, like there's Fruity Loops, right? There's, like, Serato Studio, which we messed around with a little bit. You ever just fire that stuff up at home? And
I do, but usually what I like to do, since I don't really know how to work with those programs, is watch other people work with those programs and see what they can make and hopefully learn something. I know you know a very popular video by DJ Jassy Jeff, in which he breaks down the audio software that he's using and how he's using it. So stuff like that, you can really learn a lot from something before actually using the program. But I have not used that program much. I usually use it with people like Eddie. He showed me some stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think he was using, was it Fruity Loops when he was over?
Yes, he was using Fruity Loops. That is his program of choice, he told me. And he can create a lot of stuff from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we're using Fruity Loops.
Man, going back, I think when I show my age a little bit, I want to say it was like FL Studio 3 or 4, like it was a super early version of Fruity Loops, back in the LimeWire days of downloaded pirated software.
Beautiful days.
Oh yeah, the glory days. Now it's just torrents and Pirate Bay and all the other torrent places,
right.
Which is always a good time. You might download some good software. You might download a virus. Not sure what's going to happen. But yeah, I don't know a ton about FL Studio, but I did have a chance to dabble a little bit with, speaking of music creation. I would say it's probably the last thing I was messing around with. I had some people constantly, so like, full stop, let me back it up and give a little bit of context. So for many years, played the piano.
Cheers.
In church. And cheers, man. I played the piano in church, played drums, just music in general, and had the opportunity to be around a lot of, people who are just very super talented, quite frankly. And I learned, the one thing that I found is being around people who are better than you kind of forces you to level up yourself and your skill set, which is kind of touches on what you mentioned. Like being around other creatives who are really gifted in one particular area, kind of, oh wow, how did you do that? How can I unlock a better version of myself by collaborating with you or like making music together? So fast forward several years, kind of stopped playing at church. And then one of the things that I struggled with was I have a keyboard that I bought coincidentally at Falsetti Music, which is probably a stone's throw from here. I bought that thing in 2020. I'm sorry, 2000, the year 2000. So
wow.
22 years ago now. And I still have it. It's an old ass keyboard. And when I got it, I was like, this is the best thing ever. It was amazing. The things you could do with it were incredible. Like being able to just produce music on a keyboard, no computer attached.
Still work?
It still works. It has a floppy disk, guys, if
Wow.
that gives you any context of how old this keyboard is. Floppy disk to save.
What are the makers of this keyboard again?
It was a Korg. It was a Korg Triton, 61 key.
Good marketing.
They were not weighted keys. They were light keys, which is like the true sign of a coward pianist. If you're a real pianist, you play with weighted keys. That's how the pros play. So yeah, long-winded answer, but so what happened was I had trouble sitting in front of that keyboard and making something that sounded new because the sounds were so old. And I'm like, I don't want to play this. It doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel like I'm flowing from like a natural state of creativity. It feels like I'm forcing something here. And so that's where like the Serato Studio comes in like, how can I use my knowledge of music to make music using software instead of like how I've done it traditionally.
Correct.
Playing drums or like playing the keyboard, using a mouse and using a keyboard a different way, I guess. And granted, I'm not great at it, but like I was able to make some stuff. It wasn't very good, but I liked it. A couple remixes.
But you created it.
I did,
which is the main point. So now going back to that, because you said you were used to making music, organically, meaning scratch, if you want to call it that. Now that you have these programs they're helping out a lot, it's like an assistant. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you old school? Do you like, okay, I'm open to this?
Yeah.
Or are you more old school guy when it comes to creating music?
It's a great question. I think personally speaking, when it comes to the creation of music, because this goes back, because I had the opportunity to work with people who are gifted, right? Whether it's sound engineering, mixing, producing, just there's so many things that go into making music sound very good. Never mind the production, the post-production stuff, just like, you being able to hear your instrument correctly.
Correct.
But to answer your question, I don't want to get too derailed here. I think it really being able to take the instrument of a computer and turn that into like, a proper like musical creation tool is really like challenging because it requires, like a person like myself requires a whole different skill set. Like I'm using computing knowledge all day long, but I don't often use that computing knowledge to produce music.
Correct.
That's a skill I haven't learned. Like I'm sure Eddie and Eddie's producer, Donnie Darkpop, could probably speak a lot on that particular matter. And just being able to like turn knobs and make music, But I don't know, man. Definitely not like a lane that I'm comfortable in, but like I would love to spend more time kind of engaging that space,
Yeah.
Music creation.
When it comes to that part, going back to it, I did work with Eddie. He worked, and I was watching him work and seeing what he does. I forgot the program that he used, but it's a program where they gave you samples. And just seeing him take that sample from this program, then put it in Fruity Loops, then take certain parts of that sample, cut it, add something else. This is an art.
Yeah.
This is not something you can be like, here's a program and you do something with it. You have to know exactly how to use this program, but not just that, like you said, how to mix it, how to cut it, how to put it together and make it sound good.
Right.
Because you just can't make a beat thinking you just can make a beat, but here's a program maker. You got to know exactly how to make it sound good, which is the most important part of making a beat. So when I saw Eddie breaking this down, and it's not very easy as you may think it is. Oh yeah, just put it there, just get a pair of drums, bass,
right,
put it together.
Right.
And again, it's not that easy. You got to make sure, you got to know where to put the instruments, when the instruments come in, when to cut them, and it's just, again, it's a gift that I saw firsthand, and you definitely need a lot of time, a lot of work to get good at it. But just seeing Eddie just do it really fast, you can already tell that he was already used to doing it.
And that's the thing, like once you get comfortable with your tool set, and this is really the crux of it, is getting comfortable with your tool set enough where you're proficient at it. Like, because you could have trash tools, but if you're good with your trash tools, you could probably make something really good versus somebody who's inexperienced, who has all the fancy tools and doesn't know how to use them.
Exactly.
This is like my, like I Photoshop. So it's related kind of like software. It's related by software. So like for years, I would like edit stuff to just make like illustrations and whatnot.
Yep.
But I was using, so there's a company called Macromedia, the inventors of Flash, by the way.
Wow.
They got bought out by Adobe years later, and now Adobe Flash was a thing. Since retired, thankfully, because viruses and whatnot. It was bad for computers. Short answer. Sorry. I'm a nerd, guys, just in case y'all forgot. I'm just a giant nerd. Okay, so Macromedia Fireworks was an illustration.
Just in case you forgot.
Hey, you got to let people know. So So Macromedia Fireworks was like an illustration tool, editing. It was like a poor man's Photoshop, right?
Yep.
But when I would try to use Photoshop, I just couldn't use it. Like I could make something very easily over on this other software that was kind of similar. It wasn't exact, but it was similar. But translating those skills to Adobe Photoshop, I had such a challenge with it. And so for years I struggled with it. I'm like, I can't use Photoshop.
Yeah.
Like, and like I would watch tutorials and I'd watch people, and to this day I follow a lot of people who are like just masterful with Photoshop. Like they can literally create anything. Shout out to Boss Logic, who's a guy that I've followed for a long time. That guy's incredible. Like the stuff he's able to make through software, unbelievable. Like it just doesn't make sense that you can make something out of nothing, but that's what he does. So tools, man. I'd love to spend more time making music. I think setting aside time and being intentional about it is probably the top of the obstacle list, right? Do you have the time to dedicate to your craft, right? And that's really what it boils down to. Like, what is important to you, So right now, like, we prioritize like trying to make time for this podcast and trying to, be here for the people.
Yeah.
We're here for you guys.
Appreciate you.
Pumping out all this top tier content for the internet. By the way, Xander, I just want to give a big shout out to whoever those folks are who've been supporting us since the formative years when we were recording at my house on the couch.
Throwbacks.
And
literally 2 months ago.
They don't know that, though. Yeah. I know it feels like forever ago, though. It really does. Like, I was looking back. By the way, if you haven't already, if you go to anchor.fm/the offbeat, that will bring you to our podcast page where you can...
Link is going to be right here.
Right there. You can subscribe via Spotify, via Google, or via iTunes. It's all available there, the audio-only version. And, of course, youtube.com/Ricky Digital is where you can go to find the video version of this podcast.
Nice plug.
Hey, thanks, man. Just letting people know in case they forgot. Please feel free to smash the like button, leave a review, do all the stuff that the internet overlords tell us to do so that the content can surface up to the appropriate folks. Is that good? You know what? I'm just a bullshitter, man.
I like it.
I don't know. All right, so we've got a couple topics on deck here. Why don't we parlay over to that, Xander?
What about it?
So we talk a lot about hip-hop.
A little bit.
The culture, the people, the 413 of it all. And one of the things that we haven't spent a lot of time talking about is other music, i.e. rock and roll, for instance.
Rock and roll.
Alternative rock, heavy metal.
Christian rock.
Hey, Skillet.
That had a decade.
I am a little guilty.
Forget guilty, Shannon.
Yeah.
We used to go to church together. Man, anyways, we'll get to that. But Rick, please continue.
So, yeah. All right. So when we talk about rock, I mean, rock is such a generic term. It's like,
Yes.
Actually, let me dive into this because this is a hot take. I personally think the Beatles are trash.
Boom.
Listen, I'm dead ass. Like, my wife is like a child of the 70s, even though she was born in the 80s. But she loves 70s music. Like, my wife is just a straight up hippie. Like, there's just no denying it at this point. And she loves the Beatles. She loves that genre of music. And every time it comes on, I'm like I get that for the time, revolutionary. They were like the first boy band, basically.
Okay, yes. Just keep going. I'm sorry because I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay.
I need to calm down.
It's okay. I know I'm spitting hot fire right now, but I don't care for their music. I just don't. Like, I don't think that they're not very good singers. I don't think their music is great, even though their catalog is like revered as basically holy, like in music.
You are absolutely right on everything you said. First of all, they're pretty much the colonizers of music.
Okay.
they stole everything. I don't understand. I really sat down. I'm like, I'm gonna listen to the Beatles because they're supposed to be really this band.
Oh, yeah.
You know, renowned band. I literally sat down and I did not understand. And I wanted to listen with open ears.
Yeah.
And I don't buy for the time. No, if you're good, you could be good at that time and now. Just like James Brown was good at that time. So there was a lot of groups that were good at that time, and now I can listen to them and still good. I don't get the Beatles at all. And then when I started doing a little more research, I started noticing and reading about that they were stealing a lot of the material for other famous black entertainers, and that was the part that I was like, man, F these guys. Another more, you know. But that part didn't really get to me as much as I just don't like the sound.
Yeah.
And I really thought, I was like, if this is rock, then I don't get it.
Right.
But then I listened to different type of rock, even from the UK, which I thought I like more than USA rock.
Okay.
At that time, it was punk rock was huge in the 90s. And then my friends still laugh at me at this, Geneva and Javier, because they asked me, you know, who was your favorite rock band at that time? I used to really like Green Day.
Okay.
Back in the day.
Hey.
They laughed.
Wow.
Uncontrollably, yes.
Wait, because you like them, or because they actively didn't think that they were like a good rock band?
Both.
Wow. Okay.
But hey, again, I don't know what it was. I still don't know the lead singer's name. I like the sound and his accent. Again, like you just explained, the tool that you use is really all you need to make good music.
Right.
And he made a good music for me. And a lot of people were just like my friends Javier and Jenny were just like, they didn't understand it. And even though I said, just like, you know, back then it was like, yeah, back then they still sucked. Just like, all right. But I think that was my first band that I listened to when it comes to rock.
Yeah.
That I liked.
Yeah.
It was Green Day.
So would you say they fall under like alternative rock, right? Like that
Yeah.
grungy type of.
When it comes to rock, I don't really know how to categorize it. I don't know much about it. So yeah, sure.
But that's the
grungy,
thing. Yeah, it's so broad, right? So like, okay, so talking about the Beatles, right? Like I believe, you know, if you pull up, you know, generational rock, right? 60s rock or 70s rock or whatever it is, like it's gonna sound different, obviously. You know, and that's the thing, like with every generation, they're gonna make it their own. Like same is true of hip hop. And to your point about hip hop, by the way, where you say, you know, liking music or like appreciating music is like a feeling. Like you're either feeling it or you're not, right? Like the way that I might disapprove of current hip hop and be like, this is garbage. Why do y'all like this? But then room full of, you know, kids much younger than I are like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So I get it, and I get that, like that's probably the take about the Beatles, where, you know, maybe some of the older folks might shun us for making such a blasphemous comment about the Beatles.
I mean, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, I would not be sad if I never heard another Beatles song. I will give them credit for what they did for, I think, music, like at large. Xander continues to dismiss the Beatles.
Yeah, you know what? Sure. They were pop stars.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
I don't even know. Was it really rock or was it pop music? Were they the first pop stars of all time? Were these Beatles the pop stars? What were they?
Yeah.
Were they really rock stars?
I guess that's what I would call them. I wouldn't call them rock. I don't see. This is the thing. We're going back to the generational thing of like.
They feel like the first boy band was the Beatles.
Yeah. That's exactly the same kind of energy. Like, so like NSYNC, 98 Degrees, Boyz II Men. You know, One Direction.
Wow. I'm sorry. I need to stop you for a second. You included Boyz II Men.
Wait, I apologize.
NSYNC and 98
Strike that
Degrees.
from the record, please.
We're not doing that tonight.
All right, listen. I was just mentioning people or boy bands or bands with men in them.
Backstreet, NSYNC. What was the other one? It was like 98, not 98 Degrees. It was
H-Town. Yeah, you're welcome.
Wow.
You were welcome.
Okay.
Yep.
They had like one hit single, and that was it, right?
Actually, there was an O-Town group as well.
I think that's what that's the group I'm talking about. There was one group. Yeah, I think it was O-Town.
I'm not gonna sing it, but it's Shannon. Can I get a bar from? Okay,
Yeah, sure you don't.
Just off
But
camera.
yes, speaking of boy bands, when it comes to because when it came to the R&B side,
Yep.
they weren't really called boy bands.
Correct.
They were called an R&B group.
Yep. Yep.
And man, do I miss those groups because we don't really have those groups anymore.
We don't.
I think the last group that I remember that I really liked, is probably Jagged Edge, and that's been a while.
Yeah. Jagged Edge.
As far as boy band groups, I don't. Do you know of any, Shannon? Of any current one? I don't know of any.
Current boy band?
The latest, the last. Who?
BTS.
Wow.
See, but wow. Okay, I need a moment to drink that one in.
I'm
because,
not. Wait, hold on.
Go ahead.
What was the last? How about this? What was the last? If you want to call it a boy band, let's call it a boy band or man band that you listened to that you felt like it was a decent man, even if it's R&B.
Okay. Like of current generation, like of right now.
It could
you're
be
saying?
like the Backstreet Boys, all the way to like Boyz II Men to Jagged Edge
Oh
to
my
Dru
God.
Hill. Who
So-
was the last man band that you liked?
Damn. Okay. This is a good one. See, this was my lane for a long time, dude. Like, I love like hip hop and R&B, like as we very well established on this podcast.
Yep.
But like, dude, I listened to some Boyz II Men, bro. Oh my gosh! And I was in the school choir, and we had the boys choir, and we did Boyz II Men songs, on bended knee, and it was just whatever. Like, there's a lot of. I'm so glad that was pre-internet. I'm so thankful to God that was pre-internet. Anyway, we're not going to talk about high school because there's a lot of bad memories there. But
So Boyz II Men, the last group that you heard.
like, they're just so timeless and iconic.
Okay.
Like, I could play them right now, and I'd be like, damn,
Okay.
they were so talented. Those guys,
I mean, it's probably Jagged Edge or Dru Hill. I like both. I like those two groups.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's just say hypothetically speaking,
Yep.
there's a versus between those two groups.
Okay. I like it.
That's tough. I'm just thought about it.
Okay. Jagged Edge and Dru Hill.
A versus.
See, earlier when you mentioned Jagged Edge,
Uh-huh.
I thought to myself in my mind, I said Dru Hill. And then what I said was like that those two groups specifically kind of straddled the R&B / hip hop lane very well. Where like Boyz II Men is a little bit more R&B, like fully R&B, like
R&B soulish.
yeah.
This is more R&B hip hop.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
Because
Yes.
they were edgier.
No, you're right. And I think the reason why that happened.
Edge.
Yes. Perfect name for that.
Sorry.
No. Thank you for that ad lib.
Yep. You're welcome.
I think the reason for that is because those two groups came on a time where that hip hop and R&B, they were both getting together a lot. A lot of it, I remember around that time, it was a lot of a remix from a hip hop artist with an R&B song, or it was a rap artist with an R&B singer. A lot of that. Remember, Little More and Fabulous. Remember that was one of the first songs that came out. And then after that, a lot of people, Mary J. Blige and Method Man, they always have that R&B,
Yeah.
and so that came out a lot. And I think that's when that Dru Hill and Jackie talking about is more hip hop influence.
Yep.
But you are right about Boyz II Men. They have more soul. I remember Boyz II Men off what was that group? They did the acapella. If I Fall in Love, what was the name of that
Oh
group?
my God, Shy?
Yes,
Wow.
Shy. See that group was very soulful.
Yeah. You're dating yourself
Yeah.
quite a bit there.
I'm saying this is like that good soulful band that
Dude.
involved guys but we don't really see them anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. That's just like, that was from that era, 100%. In the same way that, bringing it back, the Beatles were of that era, right? And so, like, one of the things that, kind of going back to rock is like, it just ties to music, is the evolution of like a genre, right? So like if you say rock, it's like such an open-ended like genre, but then there's subcategories within there. The same is true of any genre of music, but so if I think about Beatles, you know, they were like the foundation of like that early, you know, that's the devil's music. Oh, I can't believe you guys are listening to that. You know, like, and it was so tame back then, but for that generation, it was like outlandish. The same way that people kind of, you know, condemned Elvis for like his pelvic sorcery.
Yeah.
You know, like they weren't used to seeing somebody do that on camera or like just have that edge about them and do something that was outside of the boundaries.
Right,
you know?
right.
Kevin Bacon and Footloose.
Yep.
That movie's about, hey, don't dance, like, which is insane, right? It's like, we don't do that here. Stay within the lines.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing about music that's always like, your perception of what you think the boundaries are, I'm going to break them down on purpose.
Yes. No, and I think that when it comes to in that era, that was the it thing to do. It was very, oh, really? I can't do it. Well, watch me. And especially with that Elvis, like you said, the hip thrust was one of those things that people were going crazy for. So I can just imagine everything you want, people would go crazy for. So yeah, I definitely agree with that statement.
Speaking of Elvis, I forget what the name of the new movie is, but I saw a trailer. Actually, I saw the trailer when I was watching The Batman for a new Elvis movie. It does look pretty good. I don't know that I'll watch it. I have a work colleague who was like, did you guys see the Elvis trailer? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not that excited. And he was like really fired up about it. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'll watch it, you know. But I got, again, it's a generational thing. Like I don't have hatred, but I don't have love for Elvis the way that some people idolize that guy.
No, he is. I can understand. I don't really listen to Elvis. I never really liked him either, but I can understand the connection, like you said, the people at that time had with him. He was, even though he was a pedo, we're not gonna get there, but we did. Yeah, he definitely had a time with his public at that time.
I mean, he was, for lack of a better phrase, like certainly like Michael Jackson caliber artist, where like transcended like genres because he was so big, right? It's like you're going to listen to this not because you like this type of music, but because this guy is so important to music as a whole, right? You know, like just iconic status.
Yes, but that's the thing. It's hard for me to give somebody that I can't, even though I know it's Elvis and he is iconic. I really don't. It's like the Beatles. I just don't see it.
It's just not. Yeah, it's just not for us.
It's hard, and I really try to listen to music with the openings when it comes to stuff that I don't listen to. But to me, it's kind of like, what are we listening to here, fellas?
Yeah,
but, you know. It is what it is. But back to the rock subject. First band that you heard rock, you're like, I like this genre. I need to explore a little more.
Okay. I like this.
Mine was Green Day.
I'm going to go. The first band that like really was like, what is this? Was definitely Limp Bizkit first in, what song was it?
Wow, okay.
I'm drawing a blank right now.
Durst?
It might have been. It was like, it just sounded different, but then more that little pinky tiptoe led me to find Linkin Park. And I'm like, okay, I really like these dudes. Okay. I don't know what's happening over here, but whatever they're doing, I can get behind. And they were my gateway drug into other like alternative bands, right? So like growing up in the 90s, I wasn't really a fan of Nirvana because, again, well established, you know, hip hop, R&B, like that's kind of where I hung out a lot. I didn't come to appreciate, you know, alternative rock music until much later in my life, where I was like, I miss this growing up. You know, let me appreciate this era, because there's so many gems there. There's so many gems. Like again, growing up in the 90s, watching a lot of MTV and the music videos for rock music were crazy, man. Yes. Like they did some weird shit. They tended to be a little bit darker sometimes, you know, like, oh, that's demonic. And back then, as a super Christian, it was like, oh, scary, you know, like I can't watch this. You know, it was just whatever. That was just the life that I lived back then. Like there was this, I forget the name of the band. Hopefully it'll come to me. But the song is like Black Hole Sun, and it's like Black Hole Sun, won't you come? Like it's all very dark, and like the video is like orange, but it's just all crazy and weird. But whatever, man. Music videos from that era, kind of weird.
So who was the band again?
So I would say again, gateway drug was Linkin Park.
Linkin Park.
Yeah,
Okay.
Linkin Park.
Linkin Park. But so was it Fred Durst first or then Linkin Park?
Yeah. So the reason I mentioned Fred Durst was because I feel like I'm just being honest. Like it was catchy. Like that was catchy in a way that I wasn't used to. Like I kind of like how this sounds, because they did the whole like rock rap.
Yes.
It's hard to say. Rock rap. And I think because that crossover, like the Aerosmith and the Run DMC thing was like before my time.
Yeah.
But I appreciated what they were doing, but I didn't like love the music, right? Oh, that's a cool song. Rock This Way. Timeless classic. But like the rap rock thing was like, this is kind of dope, you know? Like, and then so Linkin Park took that to like a more cleaner, I don't know, they just sounded better.
Oh, definitely. I think a pioneer to that, I don't even know what you call it, whatever that rap rock genre is, was Fred Durst.
Yep.
Limp Bizkit, he definitely was the one that started it, in my opinion. 'Cause I don't remember anybody else before him that did that type of. Because after him, it was Kid Rock. I remember came kind of with style. And the Linkin Park, like you said. And there was also another group that I liked that was somewhat similar to Linkin Park, and it was Incubus. I remember Incubus. I actually liked Incubus a lot. That was another band that I actually liked. The group was very, very, different. Everybody else had their own thing. They even have a DJ, and then they had the lead singer. I forgot his name, but he's a great singer. But that band is a very good band. I used to like Incubus a lot.
Yeah, I would say I went from that to dude, yeah, man, you when you shouted out like Christian rock bands, I had like a flashback of so many things, man, because during that time, I'm thinking like this is probably a window of like, I don't know, 2000s,
Yes.
2005, 2006. I'm rough guesses here. But like I remember so Linkin Park, Gorillaz, right? I think they're also kind of similar lane. Could be wrong, but I feel like they're kind of a similar lane.
I think the group you're talking about, I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yep.
was it Korn? Where it was that era when, hey, they're a Christian band or something like that. I'm not sure if, because somebody was Christian, they were saying, oh, they're a Christian band.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Korn or the different
It
band.
might have been Korn. Because there was some other ones that were more overtly Christian. Like I remember I listened to a lot of Skillet.
Yes.
And
I
I was
Skillet
like,
was, yeah.
Skillet was like way more like, hey, we're Jesus, you
Yes.
guys. They made it very obvious. Where some of the other bands, POD.
That's the band I was talking about.
POD,
Not Korn.
yeah.
POD
Yep.
was the band that I was like, is this?
Yeah.
Shit?
There were some bangers.
Yeah, no,
There were
they were a
definitely
good band.
But that was definitely like the era that I learned to appreciate that genre, which then opened up like, okay, hey, Metallica's a band. Metallica's been a band for a long time. What is their music? They have some bangers, right? I don't appreciate their whole catalog, but like musically, they're very proficient, and like they're oh my god, dude, their like fan base is like super loyal, you know. The same is true of like Nirvana, right? Like, ironically now, like kids wearing Nirvana t-shirts. Oh man, it was like a classic TikTok or reel or whatever of like some girl just pronounced Nirvana completely wrong. Like she was just saying it wrong, but she was just like, "Hey, I'm wearing this cool shirt,"
Yep.
like, and it was just like cringe.
No, yeah, that happens a lot where, because there's a lot of kids that just kind of follow the trends and don't really know who it is that they have on their shirt. And it just so much music out there that a lot of the young generation haven't heard of, especially with rock. I haven't heard of. I remember when I was at my friend's house and I asked his wife, what is she playing? Because she was playing something. I said, it's Tool.
Yeah.
I never heard of the band Tool. So I was like, hey, play something for me. And she played, I forgot the name of the song. I was like, play something else.
Yeah.
Play something else. I was like, I really like this band. And after that, it just became just listen to more songs. But just listening, she just put it on and just having open ears. You can actually, there's a lot of music out there you could really, really enjoy.
There's I'm not gonna get this right, but I want to say Tool is one of the bands that has like a. If you play this backwards, God, is it Tool? If you play this backwards, it's like, no. I'm getting this wrong. See, I'm gonna admit, like, I'm not like a rock expert, but I might be confusing this with Pink Floyd actually. But it's like if you play this Pink Floyd album from start to finish,
I've heard
synced
about
up
this.
with the Wizard of Oz storyline. Like if you play the movie and you play the album, it kind of matches up. Feel free to roast me in the comments if I got that wrong, which I feel like I probably did.
We'll do some research on that, but I've never heard about that.
Yeah, live research. But yeah, man, I still appreciate it. And then later on in life, probably 2010s, 2011, 2015, whatever. I really like 3 Days Grace, Three Doors Down. They were a little bit more like, they were still rockish. They were like probably in that alternative lane.
Yes.
A little bit more like, I guess, emo, like a lot more feelings in the songs, singing about like heartbreak stuff, right? So like R&B lyrics, but like with rock as the music, right? It's kind of like,
Yes, I think a group that hits that was Evanescence.
wow, yeah. Thank you.
It was very just cortavena. Just the songs was extremely. I remember the first song I heard, the video I saw. Yeah, I was captivated. I was like, "What's going on?" It was just like raining, and they were on top of the roof, and the girl was going nuts. Like she was really going at it. And I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, Evanescence definitely got a lot of radio
some
play.
bangers.
Man, timeless. We talked about Skillet already. We talked about what was the? There was one other band that I'm like missing. I definitely listened to a lot of Skillet. Creed.
Wow.
Another Christian band. Air quotes Christian. Dude, I went to a Creed concert once.
Wow, brave.
Yeah, let's story time. So there I was. It was my sister Wanda. Shout out to my sister Wanda.
Wanda.
Mike Bosco. He was there.
Mike.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike.
And then two of Wanda's friends, and we were there. It was a Creed concert. I forget where it was, but Skillet was opening for Creed, and I was like, "Wow, awesome!" And the seats we had were like, pretend I'm looking at the stage, right? I'm looking at the stage from like a 90-degree angle, so like I'm looking down at their right side of their face like this. So they weren't great seats, but it was a cool experience. Anyway, Skillet comes on, and they are like going ham. They are going so hard, dude. Like they had the violinist, like the E violin or whatever. Yeah. They're just rocking out so hard. Like the energy was like through the roof. I'm like, this is incredible.
Nice.
And then, whatever, they get through their set, and then Creed comes on, and they're like a little bit low energy, not quite as like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, it just didn't feel the same, but their set was more flashier, right? So like the Creed guy, I don't know his name, comes on a motorcycle, there's flames and pyrotechnics and stuff, but like the content wasn't like high energy content the way that Skillet was. They were like, yo, we showed up, we're ready to throw down here.
Nice.
I did not love Creed. I don't know why they were so popular, but man, were they popular. Holy shit.
No, I remember Creed very much. There was one band that used to get a lot of hate. I never liked them, but Nickleback. What is it about that band that if you mention it, people are like, look at this photograph.
Dude, yeah.
I don't know what it is about that band, but every time you mention it, people get the stank face.
It's the Drake thing, dude.
Drake thing. Explain that.
Oh, you're popular. You're
got
good. You're mainstream. Well, it's
it,
easy to hate you, right? Because your music is digestible. It's easy to listen to. It's not complicated, right? And I think people just, I don't know, they just love to shit on stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think maybe, I'm not saying that Green Day was trash, but like I think they kind of ended up in that same.
Yeah,
way
I
where,
think so.
like,
You're right. Yeah.
They were very like for the people
Mhm.
in a way that, I don't know, man. Like I never got bad vibes from Green Day. They
Yeah.
seemed like they were like, for the people. Oh, speaking of for the people, Rage Against the Machine.
Oh,
Dude, talk about like Public Enemy, right? Like analogous, right? So Public Enemy was the name of that group, right? Back in the early hip hop days.
yes.
It's like they picked up the torch and ran with it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember Rage Against the Machine did a show with Wu-Tang, which is the most
Wow.
random collaboration,
Wow.
but apparently it worked very well. Because again, they were very militant in their
Yeah.
rock songs.
Yeah.
Rage, and of course the RZA and just all those people, they also like that type of rap. So it worked so well.
Man,
I wish I could have been there. I forgot what year that was, but it was a very big concert with Wu-Tang and
it sounds like man, what was that? I'm pretty sure it was Woodstock, like that '90s Woodstock that they did, where it was all filmed. There was like the mud pits everywhere. Thanks MTV for recording that for everybody to see. Just being complete crazy psychopaths. But Rage Against the Machine, another band that I remember I had friends who listened to them while I was in high school, and I didn't. Again, when you're, this is the thing. Shout out to teenagers of this generation, because y'all are way better informed than we ever were. The fact that you guys have access to the same information that everybody has access to is such a game changer. Whereas before, like, if you're in high school, what do you know about politics in high school, right? It's completely off the radar, like not even thinking about it whatsoever. Like it was just not a thing. And like the guys from Rage Against the Machine are like, the lyrics that they're dropping are like super like pro, just giving power to the people and like, F the government,
Right.
Just basically all the stuff that, just reasonable people would probably say, and they put it into music, and they were spitting that out and just letting the people hear it, man, and they had a huge following as a result of it. But so like that's what we had. We had those guys putting out messages like that, bro. Same with see, this is like, I think back on this as a grown man, I'm like, damn, man, I really missed out. Like Tupac put out so many gems of wisdom that I was completely oblivious to. He said so much shit in his music that I was just like completely missed,
Yeah. And that was the thing back in the day. My friend Arturo, he really loved Tupac. But at that time, for some odd reason, I mean, again, like you said, it was now I can actually appreciate him, but at that time I didn't really listen to Tupac.
Yeah.
So I was more interested in the East Coast rap style, and it was more the West Coast. Even though he was good, I was more to the East Coast side of rap, the more style thing. But yeah, Tupac, then I listen to Tupac more now than I used to back then. And you're right. When you listen to some of the songs, it goes like, he was definitely way ahead of his time.
Yeah, man. I wish I could have, I wish I could have appreciated him for the true artist that he was, like a poet, a writer, like a gifted writer, a storyteller. It's just, I don't know what it is about the evolution of music and why we tend to, you think about like a guy like Common, right? He's got that flowetry vibe, like he's just kind of telling you a story. You can literally understand everything he's saying. Similar with Tupac, like most of the time you could pick up what he was saying. He wasn't hard to follow. The way that like the mumble rap or like, just the subject matter of what people are, talking about today, like I feel like you have to weed through a lot of garbage to find somebody who's like trying to put out a quality message, versus just music that's fun to listen to. And I'm not saying everybody has to do that, right? But it is far and few in between today to hear an artist who's making something that is actually like storytelling the way that Tupac might have been telling a story, or might have been dropping gems for you. I don't hear that.
No, I know what you mean. Excuse me. You do have to look for it because it is out there. But when it comes to mainstream, that's not what's being pushed for the obvious reasons, So you have to do what sells, and that's why, like I get it sometimes with a lot of these artists, they're upset with who's on fire, who's hot, and who's getting a lot of playtime and who is getting the radio and who's being talked about. But it has nothing to do right now with talent. More of it's a certain image they're trying to push.
Yeah.
So you just got to find your own lane because it is out there, but you cannot compare yourself to what's hot because you were never going to be that hot. Like they get pushed and they get placed to be in that quote unquote throne because sooner or later somebody else is going to come as hotter than you. You go, all right, get out.
Yeah.
Now it's this person's turn. So you should be worried about your own, like your own money, your own side of your own music, everything. Because when you start, paying attention to the people, the media, the mainstream rappers, you're never gonna catch up to them, the type of fan base and market that they have.
Yeah.
Because they have a whole machine backing them up. When it comes to independent, it's pretty much you.
Yeah.
Whatever you do and your team, but they have a machine. They go to the radio, say, hey, play Soulja Boy, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Wow, Soulja Boy. What
I need you to play this 150 million times. Dude, I can't listen to the radio. I cannot, man. I just I'll turn it on. Like I'll listen to talk radio, but like, bro, music, all trash because they're just giving you the same 5 songs every. It's just the saturation is just ridiculous. Like why? I'll play a banger a couple times. Sure, no problem. But like the entire day, multiple times a day.
Yeah.
No, like nobody needs that. Nobody needs that.
Yeah, and they're very good at doing that. So
Yeah. It's all just, everything's the same. But anyway, probably a good time to take a break.
yeah, let's take one.
So hope you guys enjoyed our little journey talking about rock. The experts, clearly experts in the field of all things rock.
Green Day, what do you think?
Let us know in the comments what you guys think about rock, who your favorite band is.
But the Beatles?
Yeah. Trash. Absolute garbage.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Colonizers.
Yeah, music colonizers.
Wow.
Peace.
You guys.